But how else could we look back on this year other than to discuss the coverage of the coronavirus pandemic? COVID-19 has undoubtedly been the biggest story of the year. Not surprising, given more than 1.5 million people worldwide have died from or with the virus. Although, having said that, there is no doubt that much of the media's reporting gave way to alarmism.
If we do see an outbreak here, how many Australians could be infected?
It could be anywhere from 25% to 70%. That's what the estimates are.
And how many would we lose?
It could be hundreds of thousands of people.
These are frightening statistics, of course, only predictions at this stage, but this does come from a leading economist. A former RBA board member, Warwick McGibbon, has come out and said that if there is a mild pandemic, he is predicting 21,000 Australians will die this year. If it gets more serious, 53,000 deaths, and in the worst case scenario, 96,000 people could die, 68 million people worldwide. Now, these numbers just keep on rising.
So far, it's well under 1,000. And to listen to some outlets, you'd think they were telling us to run for the hills.
Queensland virologist Ian Mackay has suggested we can all start packing a pandemic stash box with up to 2 weeks' supply containing extra prescription medications, asthma relief inhalers, as well as over-the-counter anti-fever and pain medications, hand sanitisers and cleaning products such as bleach, toilet paper, tissues, disposable nappies and pet food, plus tinned fish, vegetables and fruit, as well as batteries.
Rush for that toilet paper, hey? In January, the federal government decided to evacuate 600 stranded Australians from the virus epicentre of Wuhan in China to Christmas Island, and the evacuees were very grateful. But not all commentators were convinced. The Australian's Peter Van Onselen tweeted, "Sending Australians in China to Christmas Island is quite possibly the most half-assed knee-jerk reaction I've ever seen." Not to be outdone, TEN's former political correspondent Paul Bongiorno tweeted in response to Van Onselen, maybe it's meant to discourage the Australians in Wuhan from applying. Whenever the coalition is in power, Bongiorno loves to portray Australia as heartless. Guess it makes him feel like a saint. And true to form, the ABC was quick to analyse the COVID response through a race prism.
Look, I think we need to acknowledge there's a lot of fear and anxiety going on out there, and it's because there's so much that's unknown, about this virus. We really don't know what's going on. But in the absence of knowing what's going on, it allows the panic and the fear to take over, and it's so easy for that to descend into xenophobia and racism and the yellow peril. It's always close to the surface. So I think we need to be very, very careful that we don't go down that way.
Then there was ABC alarmism. Fran Kelly in March interviewing Greg Hunt, who, unlike her, was across his brief.
On current projections, hospitals will be overwhelmed by mid-April. We need more ventilators, but we also. There's many projections that suggest that our ICU beds will be overwhelmed, and that's why hospitals. I've read many. I don't have it in front of me, but hospitals are now hospitals are now preparing to double the number of ICU beds we have in this country.
We announced that yesterday.
The Prime Minister had to remind ABC political correspondent Andrew Probran not to get carried away.
Aren't schools now human petri dishes for a virus?
I think it's very important, Andrew, that media don't use that sort of alarmist language. I don't think it helps. I would encourage more modest language on these sorts of issues, particularly based on the medical advice that you've heard from us day after day on this issue. So I would encourage a more measured way of talking about these issues, because I think that can cause unnecessary alarm amongst parents.
Of course, far from being human petri dishes, schools were found to be very safe by all the medical experts. Credit to the media, though. At times they had the devil's job of trying to get a straight answer from politicians, especially in relation to the hotel quarantine debacle.
The ADF has confirmed those reports were correct. They were, in fact,
I don't know that that's exactly what's been confirmed today. I'll direct you to...
The ADF have confirmed it to me. I received a statement from the ADF today saying 100 troops were put on standby to help with Victoria's hotel quarantine program. Yesterday, the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, said that they were offered. We know before that the Defence Minister, Linda Reynolds, said they were offered. What makes you so confident that they weren't?
No, look, to be honest, I think I've dealt with these questions a few days now.
Are you saying that they were neither offered nor sought for hotel quarantine at all, full stop? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's important, Rachel, to go back to the key point here. The Defence Minister, and again, I do feel obliged to make the point that all of us have got a lot to get on with. I certainly do. But you've asked the question, so let me try and give you the quickest answer I can.
Yes or no would be very quick.
And sometimes you just have to wonder why the media insisted on being the experts rather than just reporting them.
Masks are pointless. Your chances of walking past a person with the illness or being on the same train or bus as them are not much higher than winning the lottery. Masks work. They can reduce transmission by around 70%,